All right. So taking on the role of the personal representative in a probate case is no small task. This role comes with a tremendous amount of fiduciary responsibility, and there's so many tasks in front of that person who is not only have the high level of responsibility to pass, but they also are quite often dealing with the death of a loved one. It can be challenging, troubling times. The work is not to be taken lightly, and it is indeed work. And so you may be wondering if you are the personal representative or if you're considering putting someone in a role, will they be compensated for that time? And that's what we're going to explore today in probate cases in North Carolina. Can an executor receive pay for being the personal representative? What's going on, everyone? This is Courtney Rollins, the host of Life and Transitions Experts podcast, where we try to help folks who are dedicated. Their business is dedicated to helping people through these life big transitions, such as going through probate or preparing your estate and your assets to hopefully not go through probate in the future. I do call myself the Durham County probate expert, but please know I'm not claiming that I know everything about the probate process in Durham. I believe being an expert is a process and a lifestyle as opposed to a destination. If I can borrow from some of those awesome folks out there like Bill Gross and Chad Corbett, who have shared that similar sentiment and really pushed that in the work that they do. Awesome folks out there. Shout out to Bill and Chad as while I'm at it. But that does mean that I am dedicated to learning and continue to grow and continuing to build the experience so that when I encounter families and people that may be like you or someone out there that you may know, I can help them streamline the process and help alleviate some of the pain and challenges and issues that come associated with the responsibilities. All right, so let's dig in a little deeper. Commissions. Now, just want to remind you all, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. These are all, again, my opinions from my experience digging deep into probate in the Durham, North Carolina area. A personal representative is someone who is legally given the legal authority to administer and settle the estates of a deceased party in a probate. And someone has to go through probate when they have assets and have debt or claims that need to be settled. And there aren't other legal instruments such as a trust or other instruments in place to prevent them from having to go through probate. But quite often you'll have to go through probate depending on other variables like the amount the estate's worth, things of that nature. All right. But when there's not a valid will, the person is called the administrator. If there is a valid will, they're often called the executor or executrix, depending on the gender and depending on the state you're in. All right. But in North Carolina, the personal representative may receive compensation or commission for handling the estate. If the will doesn't establish the amount by the that is compensated, or then the clerk of Superior Court may, in their own judgment, grant up to 5% of what the estate is worth, the state's receipts and disbursements, how much is worth in the estate. And they're going to take in consideration the time that is put in by the administrator or the person of representative, the responsibilities that they have based on the estate, all the challenges they may come up against, and the skills that may be required and involved in the administration of the estate. And these factors, also other factors may include how much you have to pay for professional services, such as an attorney or accountant, or probate professionals such as estate pro services. So the work or the funds that are used to pay an attorney or someone like us at Estate Pro Service is going to be considered and a part of the commission quite often when there's commission granted based on the clerk. Now, any payment made to the personal representative are credited as expenses toward the estate, toward the administration. So they have to be taken into account as well during the accounting stages. And these personal representatives, as a personal representative, you need to make sure that you petition the clerk for approval of any of the commissions that you're giving out before you make that distribution. You don't want to be held liable for misconduct. So for instance, there are things and factors that are going to help protect the estate and hopefully protect you as the fiduciary for the estate. So if the overall gross estate is worth only $2,000 or less, or is worth $2,000 or less, then the clerk may set a specific amount that the personal representative can receive to make sure it's adequate and just, and make sure you're not, charging 5,000 when there's not that much left in there, and now you're really in a tough situation. The estate's in a tough situation, and you're kind of in a tough situation being the representative of the estate. It's going to open up a lot of doors for perhaps conflicting interests that you don't want to really put yourself in or get involved in. Now, the clerk may allow the personal representative to receive commissions from time to time while the probate case is still open. However, the total commissions allowed will be determined on the final settlement of the estate and can't exceed the limits that are set in place by the law. All right. So please know you can't just go willy-dilly just saying, hey, I'm cost as a personal representative, this is worth my time, and this is how much I'm going to get paid. There are set rules and parameters, and that's why it's also so important to seek legal counsel and with that, the support of a state professional to help you recognize what can be credited and what can't be credited, as well as great tax benefits that we could talk about in a completely different podcast for getting the estate settled. And when you go through a vendor like Estate Pro Services, it's streamlined and it makes it really easier job quite often for your accountant and for folks who are responsible for the taxes and things of that nature for the estate. Now, please note, if you are found or the personal representative is found guilty of any misconduct in the execution of the administration of the estate, and they have been revoked, the personal representative has been revoked, then any of the commission they were entitled to under the provisions, they're not entitled to anymore. So you really make sure you're holding yourself to a high standard when you are the personal representative. Also, now let's say the will does stipulate how much is compensated for, then the will dictate, like the will dictates the specific amount or the means or how the thing will be distributed. If it's legal by law, then that's what the court will follow. This includes if it states that the person should receive compensation for their time or for their performances. It's quite often, if it says some type of verbiage that says receive reasonable compensation for their service or some similar language to that effect, then that amount is what the clerk will honor and will look for. Now, the personal representative can appeal if they think, hey, I need actually more funds or whatever the reason is. There are routes that you can go about to make sure the commission is appropriate or the compensation is appropriate for the time that's rendered and the service is rendered. So again, you can see there are a lot of challenges, a lot of not just challenges, but a lot of things that are involved in finding out if you actually and how much you actually can receive if you are the personal representative. And we want to make sure that you don't get so exhausted that you're not able to do the job that you're supposed to do or that you don't have the funds. There are other resources out there as well, such as cash advance for probate, which can be pretty expensive, but can also be a good solution for folks who find themselves really needing funds to do the best job they can for the estate. Again, we definitely encourage you to reach out to some type of probate attorney and probate specialist in your area. If you need help finding them, contact us. We have connected nationwide network of vetted estate professionals, and we'd love to help you find someone who fits your situation and your need. Hey, if you are one of those professionals out there, you're maybe a probate or an estate attorney, or maybe you're a real estate professional and you want to share the great, awesome things you're doing, would love for you to reach out to me and let's sit down. Perhaps I can interview you during one of our Wednesday live calls that we do every Wednesday. And then we publish it a little ahead of schedule, which is awesome. So it comes out maybe 5, 6, 7 days later. I'm really having a great time putting out these content, learning so much about probate, and as I learn, I share with you all. And so that's awesome, which means that a lot of the videos that I put out, I'm like a week or two ahead of time, but I'm going to keep on pumping, keep on doing it, and would love for you to be a guest on this show. So check us out. Please like, subscribe, whatever platform you're on. Apple, please give us a review. Spotify, all that stuff. Share and join us on the Life and Transitions Experts YouTube channel and Facebook page. Other than that, This is Courtney Rollins. I'm signing out as I always do, saying rising tides, it lifts all sails.